So picture this, an $8.8 million heist. But this isn't some Hollywood movie. This was orchestrated by college football teammates and guys who met playing video games. It's the story of a huge fraud ring, and you won't believe the single tiny clue that brought the whole thing crashing down. Let's get into it.
It all starts with this number. We're talking $8.8 million. That is a staggering amount of money that this sprawling theft ring managed to siphon from hundreds of victims all across the country, many of them elderly.
And look, this wasn't just a handful of crooks. We're talking about a massive enterprise. They had inside people at banks, online distributors, and literally hundreds of anonymous foot soldiers turning stolen data into cash. So as you can imagine, taking it down required an equally massive multi-state police effort.
So you have to wonder, right? How does an investigation this massive even get off the ground? Did they have a secret informant? Was there some big data leak? No, the reality is way simpler, and in a way, kind of more interesting.
That's it. This entire $8 million house of cards began to wobble, all because of one transaction that just didn't look right.
And that brings us to the very first clue. It was a single red flag worth $250,000 that would end up unraveling this entire national conspiracy. $250,000. That was it. That was the first breadcrumb in the trail. The deposit that kicked this whole thing off.
So what happened was an alert online banking detective spotted this huge sum just popping up in a brand new account. I mean, that is a classic red flag. After a quick internal look, he knew this was way too big for them to handle alone. So he did the right thing. He immediately called the sheriff's office. And just like that, the criminal investigation was officially underway.
And from that one single account, the case just spiderwebbed out across the whole country. Investigators started following the money, issuing 18 different search warrants. And with every single one, the picture of this nationwide network just got clearer and honestly, more and more disturbing.
Okay, so how did this digital heist actually work? Let's break down the anatomy of the scam from the inside out.
What's so fascinating here is how the whole operation was a mix of old school and new school crime. It started with inside access, right? Two veteran tellers giving away login codes. Then, their accomplice, a guy named Antonio Showtime Pin, uses those codes to steal customer data, specifically targeting what he called dead-in accounts. You know, dormant accounts, often belonging to the elderly. And from there, it all goes high-tech. Penn passed that data to his old college football teammate Oki Ashi, who acted as the distributor, selling everything on the encrypted messaging app Telegram. And then finally, hundreds of criminals bought that data, used it to open fake accounts, and drained millions from their victims.
You're probably picturing some shadowy group of master criminals here, but the reality is this whole network was built on some surprisingly normal connections, like, college sports and online gaming.
I mean, just look at this cast of characters. You've got the mastermind, Showtime Pin, and his distributor, Oki, who knew each other from West Virginia college football. Then you have the insiders, Barbara and Kamala, both of them veteran bank employees. And then there are the foot soldiers, the people who are actually buying the data. Two of them, Rashado Durant and Hassan Phillips, they met each other playing video games online. Wild, right?
And just to give you a little sense of their mindset, when one of the data buyers, Rashado Durant, got arrested, he was charged under the RICO Act. That's a super powerful law made to take down huge criminal organizations. His response? Hey, I thought only rappers got charged with RICO. It just shows this stunning disconnect from how serious his crimes actually were.
And this really brings us to the central paradox of this whole case. The damage they caused? An absolutely staggering $8.8 million. But the personal profit for the two masterminds, Pin and Oki, it was just $70,000 to $80,000. And today, they're completely broke. It's really a chilling look at how decentralized digital crime can create immense harm for very, very little personal gain at the top.
So what was the secret ingredient? What was the one tool that let this crime scale up so massively? Well, it all comes down to one thing, the messaging app that basically became the criminals' playground, Telegram. Now, for those of you who don't know, Telegram is this big messaging platform that's operated out of Dubai. Its main selling points are privacy and security. They heavily market features like end-to-end encryption and secret chats. But here is the dark side of all that privacy. Those exact same features, the encryption, the secret chats, the refusal to cooperate with law enforcement, have also made it the perfect safe haven for illegal activity.
The New York Times didn't mince words. They called it the playground of criminals, a perfect anonymous marketplace to buy and sell stolen data. But this playground couldn't stay open forever. Eventually, that digital trail led right back into the real world, leading to the takedown, the aftermath, and a journey from Telegram to, well, telejail.
Now, the good news is the investigation was a huge success. This $8.8 million fraud ring was stopped cold. The key players, including Showtime and Ouchie, were arrested in coordinated raids across multiple states. It was a truly complex conspiracy, and they dismantled it. But there is a catch.
So, the masterminds and the key players are in custody. That's great. But law enforcement knows there are hundreds of other suspects still out there. All the people who bought that data on Telegram and actually used it, they're still at large.
But for the core group, that illusion of being anonymous online, it shattered pretty quickly. The sheriff at the press conference put it perfectly. He said they went from Telegram crook to telejail. A really fitting end for a scheme that relied so much on digital secrecy.
Which really leaves us with this big, lingering question. This case pulled back the curtain on just one criminal network operating in the shadows of a privacy-focused app. And as technology makes this kind of crime easier and easier to commit on a global scale, you have to wonder, how many more telegrams are out there just waiting to become telejails?